Hello there, dear loving souls. Welcome back to part 2 on the video series today on a spirit-led topic on Up from the Depth, Releasing Difficulty. In part 1, we just talked about a few universal laws that have popped through based on the tarot cards that have come through. And practical tips is what we're going to be talking about here in part 2 based on the cards that have fallen through. So the first thing I'm really drawn to say, and it will be a mixture of thinking love, speaking love, and doing love, which is obviously a holy trinity of love in my world. If you're a subscriber to this channel, I enjoy using that framework in my own personal life. It's all about practicing love, thinking love, speaking love, and doing love. And so the first thing that comes to mind, and I'm drawn to say very much so based on the Emperor that has come through, which is a major arcana, the 10 of Cups and the 2 of Wands. Pretty much most of the cards here on the table, the context is very much home, stability, your comfort zone, your foundation, your family. And I'm even drawn to say that you might even be the patriarch in your family context. That you could be, a mother, but you might take on the responsibility of, the divine masculine within your family context. You might be the father, the dad, the spouse itself, so you might identify with the male gender and be that patriarch, the father, yourself, listening to this. And there's something specifically about how there may have been troubles or difficulties and challenges in the home family environment context, perhaps financial difficulties, or perhaps issues at work that have an impact on family or home stability and wealth. I am getting it from a couple of things. The Emperor, the 10 of Cups, which is traditionally a card of happiness and joy in a home or family situation. 2 of Wands, the person is standing in their castle, top of that castle, their home. So this is very much the context. Now, the beauty is that even though you might be experiencing a turbulent, emotional, deeply challenging time, perhaps as extreme as, chronic anxiety or depression or any other of the low frequency emotions, difficulties and challenges, this video series, I believe, or the topic is all about being already on this at the beginning of the journey, up the stairs towards new beginning, bright new beginning, joy and happiness. And in fact, there is protection, a spiritual protection on your journey. This is of the light, the universe, and the spirit world are guiding you and illuminating for you the way forward. And if you haven't quite noticed it yet, you may notice some signs or synchronicities in your life that will show you the way forward. If you haven't already, or you might be, this might resonate with you, or this might not. If so, perhaps act on it. But then Up from the Depth card, there is an image here of a huge window to the right of this lady, and I see that as it reminds me of a place of worship, or a temple, or a church, or whatever that place or that kind of location means in your life. Doesn't mean you have to go to such a place. You can always pray or address any of your anyone you or anything you believe in at home. But if you do go to a place of worship or church or temple or places like that, this might be a confirmation that that's some place that you may want to visit or go to in order to just spend some time in that location. Perhaps you'll be able to clearly hear your inner voice, the voice of your spirits, your guardian angels, your ancestors, or God, ascended masters, whoever you believe in, and they might send you more energy your way to help you illuminate the path forward, to go up the steps towards a brighter beginning in order to get more stability into your home and family environment, in order to start releasing or release more the difficulties that perhaps are prevalent in your life. So that's on the thinking love. I think thinking love, obviously addressing the higher beings, or going to a place of worship where you might be able to get into that state and pray or just think and meditate. Now, the other thing I'm really drawn to say is that the Two of Wands and the Emperor in particular are cards that are, there's a synchronicity here with the zodiac of Aries, you know, the zodiac sign of Aries. Very strong energy, and Two of Wands is ruled by the planet Mars, I believe, and the Four of Major Arcana is ruled by the Sun. Sun, once again, illumination, light. That's, you know, spiritual illumination as well, because we're the source of life itself, quite strong and prevalent. It's there. But Aries as well, sorry, the planet Mars, it's all about ambition and drive. And I'll get back to it just shortly because it touches upon the need to act, be ambitious perhaps, act, do something, take action, make a decision. But before I get onto that, it's actually a really interesting timing because I am filming this just before the the full moon in Aries, which is kicking off 29th of September. And I'm just really getting a strong message based on these two cards that have come through that are Aries representatives, or, you know, the zodiac Aries applies. I do believe that there's something for you in that message, and specifically that it's all about I am. It's thinking about you as an individual, and also being driven to take action, being driven to come up with new ideas, coming up with new ideas, thinking, being in your head a little bit and strategizing, and then taking action. Going back to the freedom of choice and the Two of Wands that I was talking about, there is a strong energy of having to plan, strategize, think ahead, figure out what authority you've got, or what do you rule over, you know, in your home or your family environment. What are you in charge of? What is it within your control? Review that, think about it, come up with a plan, and then take action. So the freedom of choice you've got is to plan and strategize if you wish. You don't have to. This is just a suggestion, a practical suggestion. And then make a decision and take action. Act now, make a decision. And there's something about the supermoon in Aries coming up literally in a day or two time. Yeah, tomorrow, and the day after, depending on your time zone. That might actually influence a lot of us because of the energies that are, you know, prevalent in the air, so to speak. They're just very, very much there. They exist. The other thing I'm drawn to say is, interestingly, you know, from the number 6, I'm reminded of the sixth house, which is the house of the Virgo, effectively. But in particular, the word healing comes to mind. Healing, and that obviously when you're releasing difficulty and challenges, it's part of the journey of your healing towards something better, towards releasing what no longer serves you, in order to step into something brighter, more harmonious, more joyful, more loving, and something that's better for your stability, for your wealth, for your happiness. And also the energy of Virgo, they're very detailed. You know, they really like to get their ducks in a row. Very focused on the little details to make sure everything goes from A to Z, so to speak. And that kind of makes sense with this card of going up each stair, right? No shortcuts. You have to go step by step by step by step in order to get you to the top of the staircase, towards the top, towards the peak of the mountain, towards that bright happiness, illumination. So going back to the idea of freedom of choice to plan and strategize, and then freedom of choice to act, perhaps it's time during the planning and strategizing phase to really get your ducks in a row, focus on the details before you take the actual step, or next step, whatever that might be, in order for it to make sure that everything aligns for your highest good. The other thing I'm getting from these cards, or a confirmation, I suppose, of what I've been talking about, is there's a very strong color scheme of red coming through. We've got red dress on a child and a mother figure in this card. We've got red boots and the Page of Swords. The Emperor is fully cloaked in red, and the Two of Wands has a red hat, so red all around. Red is for me a reminder of the root chakra, which is the first chakra. Archangel Michael, you might want to talk to or address Archangel Michael if you want a little bit of help in that perspective of the root chakra, which deals with stability, foundation, wealth, the 3D world, planet Earth stuff, those basic needs that we need to survive. That's why I just mentioned a lot before about, the stability context, home, family, foundation. The other color that is popping through, not as much, but it's popping through, is the darker blue, which is, for me, a meaning of, needing a little bit of introspective thinking, going within, listening perhaps to your intuition, but also going within to plan and strategize, which is a confirmation of what I mentioned before about 2 wands, freedom of choice to plan, strategize, and then to act. Likewise, number 4, stability, structure, foundation. The table has 4 legs, the chair has 4 legs, stability, foundation, another confirmation in terms of numerology. But going back to the Emperor, so he is very much a divine masculine. So as for me, masculine energy, we all have a balance of both, but it feels like a practical advice from this situation of going to release difficulty in your environment. In order to climb up the stairs, we need to embrace the divine masculine energy, which is what? Logic, thinking, planning, strategizing, ruling, understanding what your environment is, what isn't within your control, and what is it that you have to do, from a place of love, in order to actually then take that next move, take that next step in order to improve the situation or the circumstances for the environment that you rule over, the people that you rule over, or take care of or look after. It has to be something with the Page of Swords. I'm getting, being quick-witted, being smart, really having to use that mental element, that intelligence, that logic, in order to strategize before making that next step, but making sure that you do make that step. It's not just purely about thinking, but thinking and then doing. Thinking love, doing love. And obviously don't forget to speak love, especially in a family context. It is very much important to seek advice, to share your thoughts, and get some advice, and ultimately trust your intuition, trust your heart, put the hand on your heart, if you will, in order to understand what is it that you're going to do next. Now, the last thing I want to mention based on these cards is that I do feel like, especially with the 2 of Wands and this card of releasing difficulty, where she's sort of heading up the stairs, this lady on the image, and the sun is illuminating the path forward for her, but she can't really see what's at the top of the staircase. It's kind of like foggy, it's unclear. And with the 2 of Wands, the individual is standing from a comfort zone, but is looking out to the sea, is looking out to the unknown, looking out to something he can't really quite see in the distance. He doesn't know, it's foggy. And so part of the message perhaps, and actually, sorry, the people in the 10 of Cups, they're looking up at the rainbow. Great, they can see that clearly, but their home is quite in the distance and actually quite far away from them. So there's something for me, getting about, it's no longer about like the status quo. You can't just keep on repeating the same over and over and over again, because I feel like the message is like, it's not about returning to the past. Because if you take a step back, if you return to the past, you're gonna find yourself back in the turbulent waters, deep emotions, a low frequency emotions and feelings, anxiety, depression, stress. So it's not about stepping back or looking back. It's not about reviewing and going back, making the decision to go back. Perhaps it's about, you can review, you can take some lessons from the past, look at it from that perspective, observe what happened in the past, review some of the lessons that have been learned, but it's time to actually move forward and strategize how to move forward and make decisions to move forward. And that might mean into the unknown. It might mean into something that you might not be aware of it. You may have not experienced that before. So it's a new life experience, a new beginning. stepping out of your castle, your home, into the unknown, into a new environment, but hopefully having the courage to do so, and knowing that you're led by the spirit and the universe, and you've got the right ancestors and help in order to actually show you the way, that unknown is actually where you're meant to be, and that will bring you life fulfilling experiences, emotions of love and joy and happiness. It will be better for your whole family and for your loved ones, and ultimately it's where you're actually meant to be, even though it might feel a little bit hazy or unclear at this point in time. Now for some of you this might mean physical relocation, so physically relocating, going overseas, moving away from troubled water, so to speak, into more calmer waters, or different, a journey somewhere else, different location, physical location of home. But some of you it might just be, just figuring out a different way of doing something and taking steps to do so. But something new, new beginning, new experience, newness, something really, really new. Excuse the noise of the sirens outside with the cars. Alrighty, I think that's all I'm getting from the cards here. Let's just jump into part 3, where we're going to get a little bit more messages from the spirit world on the subject matter of from the depths and releasing difficulty. Click on the link down below for part 3, my darling friends and my dear loving souls, and I will see you shortly.